Welcome back to my Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the Trilogy playthrough. Last time we saved Edgeworth and finished up case 4, and today I'm going to be starting the last case of the first game, which is case 5, Rise from the Ashes. I've actually somehow I've never gotten around it to playing this case, so I have no idea how much progress I can do in one day, but we'll see. It's been 2 months since Maya left the office. 2 months without a single trial. I've had offers, but none I took. That is, until the day that girl showed up. February 22nd, 10:02 a.m. Wright & Co. law offices. Why do I come here to the office every day? It's not like I want to work. There you are, finally! Where have you been? My sister's trial is tomorrow. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am, it only matters who you are. The famous defense attorney, Mia Fey. Oh, you're not Mia Fey, are you? I'm sorry, but Miss Mia Fey no longer works here. So you are the coffee boy. I'm Phoenix Wright, a defense attorney. Right. Oh wait, you're the Phoenix Wright? The Phoenix Wright from the Edgeworth murder case? Yes, that's correct. It wasn't Edgeworth who was murdered, though. That's a relief, then. You're better than nobody. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I'm not taking cases right now. But you're Phoenix Wright, right? The undefeated defense attorney. Look, I'm not accepting any new cases. I'm sorry, but you'll have to try elsewhere. Please! I'm out of time. But please, you have to help. It's my sister. Maya, could it be? Okay, I'll hear you out. Really? Thank you so much. My name's Emma Sky. I'm a scientific investigator. Scientific investigator? Emma, was it? So you're a scientific investigator? Yes, that's right. Is something wrong? No, it's just you seem kind of jumpy or maybe just young? Young? I'll be 16 years old this year. Oh, I see. Wait, only 16? I'm set to be formally assigned to forensics in 3 more years. My work is becoming quite well known, at my age no less. So what exactly is your current position then? Well, legally speaking, I guess you'd call me an 11th grader. But I'm ready to do my job, at my age no less. Great, another future professional in training. So what's this about a case? You said the trial's tomorrow? My sister didn't do it. She wouldn't stab someone with a knife. She wouldn't. So it's a murder case. I don't care if there's a witness who saw her do it. She didn't do it. I know she didn't do it. It's a scientific fact. And there's a witness? Just talk to her. You have to talk to her. Right. I suppose I will. I promised I'd bring her Mia Fey, but that's interesting. How would she know Mia? My sister asked for Mia specifically. This Mia Fey person was a few years below in her school. So they went to the same school, huh? She always told me to go to Mia if I ever needed a defense attorney. And well, I need one. Incidentally, Mia is a woman. Now that you mention it, guess it is more of a woman's name more than a man's. Well, it's nice of you to help your sister out like that. You must be close. Well, actually, when she gets like she is now, I kind of hate her. Huh? But she's my only family. Your only family? What about your parents? They died in a car accident when I was little. Oh, I'm sorry. So you want to be a scientific investigator when you grow up? Excuse me? I'm not a child, I'll have you know. Still, it's good to have a goal, albeit a very unusual one. I believe investigations should be done scientifically. Don't you? Yeah, sure can't fault her for a lack of enthusiasm. If this case is handled scientifically, I'm sure my sister's name will be cleared. Your sister? I've been doing research, you know. I'm developing a new scientific method of case investigation. I'll show you when I'm done. I'm looking forward to it. Guess I should get down to the detention center and talk to her sister. See this? It's my attorney's badge. Ah, well, I've never seen a real one before. You're the first one who's actually been interested in mine, believe me. Its composition is mostly silver. The gold plating is flaking a bit. She analyzed it scientifically. There doesn't appear to be any corrosion due to sulfides. I'd give you $50 for it. Sorry, but it's not for sale yet. Head to the detention center. February 22nd, detention center visitors room. I wonder what's wrong with Emma. She got quiet all of a sudden as soon as we arrived. Guard, I thought I told you I didn't want visitors. Sorry, ma'am, it's your sister. No excuses! Or did you not want a raise this year, hmm? Understood, ma'am. What was that all about? Hi, Lana. Funny. I seem to remember specifically telling you not to come here. Perhaps my memory is failing? Look. I don't want to come here either, okay? But your trial's tomorrow and you still don't have a defense attorney. I'll be the one in court tomorrow. This has nothing to do with you, Emma. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Hey, how do you know me? Mia mentioned you. I've heard quite a bit. I'm sorry. What exactly is it that you do? My name is Lana. Lana Sky. I'm chief prosecutor for this district. You're a prosecutor? Two sisters, one a lawyer. Could this be a coincidence? Emma, Lana, they're just like... Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? There's something you should know from the start. Which is, the suspect in this case has confessed to the crime. Huh? Wait, but the suspect is... me. I did it. Well, Mr. Wright? Well, why don't you begin by telling me exactly what happened? The crime took place yesterday, February 21st. 5 p.m. It's quite specific. It was in the witness's deposition. A witness clearly saw me committing the crime. That was a bit of bad luck, wasn't it? The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. The prosecutor's office, huh? In your subordinate's car trunk. Classy. I was arrested on the spot, caught red-handed, as it were. Well, that's just great. So, who was the victim? An investigator with the police department. I suppose the correct term is detective. A detective? Death was due to a loss of blood. He was stabbed once in the stomach. By you? Death wasn't immediate, but the wound was fatal. I see. Allow me to repeat myself, Mr. Wright. The victim was a detective. You know what that means, don't you? Uh-oh. What, Mr. Wright? What does it mean? Well, it means the police department will consider it a matter of pride to have me found guilty. They will use any means at their disposal to do so. This case gets worse and worse with everything I learn. So you're the chief prosecutor? That is correct. I'm responsible for overseeing every trial handled by prosecutors in this district. I make sure the prosecutors have what they need to do the job and manage every aspect. Those are my responsibilities, in a nutshell. That's an awfully large nutshell. Still, I'm a little surprised. I would think you'd recognize the district's chief prosecutor, Mr. Wright. Huh? In fact, it seems impossible you wouldn't. Lana? What happened to your hand? Oh, this? I cut myself by accident when I stabbed him, that is. Huh? I'm not very good at being a criminal, I suppose. How am I supposed to defend this? Attempt to change the subject. Wait, she was in the class ahead of Mia, wasn't she? You were in school with Mia, correct? A few years above her. Emma told you that too, did she? Well, why not? I did track him all the way here from his office. Although it seems he has very little in common with Mia. Hey! He was in law school. I was in my 3rd year and she was auditing the class. She was different than the other students. Different? She was strong. She'd do anything to become a defense attorney. Anything. That was probably why she was attracted to me. Excuse me? Intellectually attracted. Lana was top of her class in school. I was the best there was. Oh. I'm doing pretty good in school too, by the way. Sounds a bit different when Emma says it. Well, Mr. Wright... Excuse me? As you can plainly see, I am admitting my guilt. I think it's safe to say there's no way you can take this case. None. But Lana... Why? Why are you doing this to me? You never think of anyone but yourself. I know you didn't do it, Lana. I know. So, how can you say you did? If I lose you, I'll be all alone. I hate you, Lana. Mr. Wright? Yes? I believe our discussion here is ended. The rest, I'll leave to you. You mean you're requesting my services as your defense? Don't lose any sleep over it. Your client has confessed after all. The case is over. Right, I'll do what I can to get to the bottom of this. Lana has confessed to the crime, yes. But something doesn't fit. It's that look in Emma's eyes. There's something else going on here, and I'm going to find out what. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Huh? About what? My sister, she's not always like that, you know. I just never expected to be defending another prosecutor again. She's changed a lot. She used to be so gentle, always smiling, everybody liked her. I see, but I'm having trouble imagining that. What happened to her? I don't know for certain myself. I think maybe well, maybe not. Sounds like there's something there that defies a simple scientific explanation. Let's go check out this underground parking at the prosecutor's office, shall we? Okay. February 22nd, prosecutor's office, underground parking lot. So this is the lot where it all happened. Looks like they're still investigating. Funny that my first visit to the prosecutor's office should be like this. Hey everyone, keep up the good work. Hey, what are you thinking? Well, they're going to be my coworkers in 3 years from now, after all. No harm in saying hello. Actually, there is. You know, attorneys aren't supposed to examine crime scenes. I'm trying to not stand out too much here, see? Hey there. You're expecting to go unnoticed here, partner? Partner? What do we have here? Looks like a bambina got loose from the ranch and is up to no good. Folks gotta learn to keep them doggies tied down, partner. Mr. Marshall! Marshall? Looks more like a sheriff to me, or a cowboy. Looky here, bambina, I know how you feel. But this is my gang's cold strike, see? Strike? This is our claim, our territory, with a mother load of evidence. If you're fixing to mess with what's ours, you'll regret it, partner. You know what dreams the cacti out in the desert dream? You want? Okay, you know what dreams the cacti out in the desert dream? You want to? What's this guy talking about? You head along home now. Happy trails, bambina. Was that a hombre, a friend of yours? Kind of, sort of. Yeah, he's a detective. He thinks he's a sheriff from the Wild West, it seems. Alright, well, let's examine around. What's this? A wallet? Excuse me, officer. Wait, what are you doing, Mr. Wright? What am I doing? I just found this wallet, so I'm handing it over to the police. I don't believe it. This is really basic. Anything at a crime scene is evidence. Let's be scientific about this, please. Just put it in your pocket. How's that scientific? Sounds like theft to me. Wallet, a foldable wallet found at the crime scene. There seems to be something inside. I'm called to duty already, and at my tender age. Here, I'll teach you the trick to examining evidence in detail, okay? By the way, her eyes are sparkling. I can tell she's been waiting for this. Okay, now, look at the court record. You have to be sure to examine evidence carefully on all sides. Now, let's start examining from every angle. Is this like the first model in the game? Oh look! I think there might be a clue here. You should check it out with the press of the A button. This is an ID card. Sergeant Bruce Goodman, ID some number. See, well, isn't scientific investigation useful? Yes, though I don't see what science has to do with it. Goodman's ID added to the court record, an investigator's ID card found at the prosecutor's office crime scene. Let's be sure to examine every piece of evidence we find. I guess I've got to be on my toes from now on. A name and ID number are written here. Sergeant Bruce Goodman, ID some number. I wonder why they only use number for IDs. What else would they use? Letters, silly. They're the reason we have a written language in the first place. Ooh. Sergeant Bruce Goodman, IT Yabadab. Yabadab. See? Wouldn't that be better? Yabadab? It does have a certain ring to it. Exactly my point. It doesn't take much to amuse her. Okay, nothing else. Let's continue examining. Look, a door! This must mean something. I'm not sure that doors mean anything. No, it won't open. A mysterious lock. I fail to see what's mysterious about it. Mr. Wright, you need to learn to enjoy life more. Let's finish our investigation first, shall we? Whoops. This is where the cars leave the lot. The arrow on the ground makes it look more like an entrance. What are you talking about? It's plainly an exit. Well, maybe it's both. Kind of a dual purpose? Ah, the theory of relativity. What? I've got to write this down. Ah, hey, Mr. Wright. Maybe you know, was Mr. Relativity German? Or was he British? Mr. Relativity? Are you sure that was his name? Look, a stylish glass-walled room. Very nice. You can see the whole parking lot from in there. It says security. Perhaps it's a cafe? Huh? Cafe security. Yeah, that must be it. Let's check it out later. I hate to break it to you, but I think that's probably just a security guard office. You know, I scored a 97 on my science test the other day. Too bad they don't have a test for common sense. Oof. Aha! A ladder! That's a step ladder. What's the difference in scientific terms, please? Scientific, huh? Look at the basic nature of things, Mr. Wright. This all seems so horribly familiar somehow. Here, a phone. Let's see if it works. Hey, don't touch stuff we don't need to be touching. I can't hear anything. My ears! No, my ears! Maybe it's due to the barometric pressure. What is she babbling about? Hey, what did you just say? See, you can hear just fine. The phone's broken. An oil drum. Looks like it's filled with water. It's heavy. I can't even budge it. The drum over here is on its side. Wait, I know. I'll hide in here and do a stakeout. I think you'll probably just get arrested. In fact, you may not even have to hide in the drum to get arrested. What? I'm not suspicious. This wall is in our way. It's got a faux safe for water. Wait, I know. This wall is merely a facade, hiding the truth. This is no wall, but a water tank. Fail to see how it makes any difference either way. Alright, can we go to that security guard thingy? Is there more I can examine? Oh. It didn't even see the slide. My bad. My bad. Well, no time to rest. Let's get hunting for clues. I wonder what this is. Well, partner, looks like you got no intention of going home quietly. The sheriff! Like I said before, this here's our claim. You'd best not be moosing along, unless you're fixing to bite the bullet. Yeah, scary. Could you just tell us one thing? Who owns that car? Well, the little filly's got a good nose on her. You want to know who rides that red Mustang with the body in her saddle, eh? Please! No problem, partner. About time for vittles anyway. Get yourself to the saloon, up on the 12th floor of the prosecutor's office. Might just find you a cerveza if you like. Prosecutor's office? Or does this guy think he is? And when, for that matter? Note to self. Look up Vittles Saloon Cerveza. Maybe we should check out room 1202. The High Prosecutor's office. In any case, stay away from the car. You can look around here all you like, just keep your paws off our claim. Right, great. Great, maybe there are some clues around him, Mr. Wright. Let's check it out. Excuse me. Were you two all set? Us? Ooh. What's this? She couldn't be. You're selling lunches here? This is a crime scene. Hello, half and half, was it? Oh, thanks. And you, sir? Yes? Some crunchy goodness coming at you. Thanks. Interesting way of doing business. This area is off limits to anyone without clearance, especially passers-by. Or are you officers? No, but you don't exactly look like the type to have a clearance. Well, that's hardly a way to greet someone. Even if my days as the cough-up queen are over. Cough-up, huh? You know, I'm feeling kind of full. Maybe I'll pass on lunch. I'm quite connected to this case, you see. Made it finally. Welcome to the stream, Shadow. Sorry if I didn't see your message earlier. The images are burned into my eyes, you might say. Yes, all the sordid secrets. Secrets? Dear me, you're a slow one, aren't you? I'm referring to the murder. The stabbing of that detective. What? A witness clearly saw me committing the crime. You mean you're the witness my sister was talking about? Please, cough up, Queen. Tell us what happened. The name is Angel Star. Don't you go forgetting it. I happen to be sick today, so I can spend the rest of the day watching this. Nice. Well, get well soon, but nice that you can watch. Or before you know it, I'll have you whimpering at my heels. Yes, ma'am. Yipes, she means it. Right, the case. Somehow I knew. Yesterday was the day of destiny. I knew something was going to happen. Just like I know that the daily special on Friday every week is salmon. Destiny? Was yesterday special for some reason? You're a defense attorney, right? You should know then. You should know the foul misdeeds of the evil ones who haunt this den of inequity. Evil ones? Prosecutors. They have no qualms at all about blackmailing the name of innocence. And yesterday they paid homage to the most evil one of them all. They give an award for King of Prosecutors. What a farce. So she's saying there was some sort of prosecutors convention yesterday? I was almost compelled to lace their lunches with something foul. Do you have a personal grievance against prosecutors or something? Or is there some kind of scientific evidence of this, evil? Young miss, mock me at your own risk. You'll soon find out why they call me the cough-up queen. The most heinous of all the evil ones, the one they awarded yesterday. It was in his car that they found the body. Proof that he devours The evilest lunches of all. Really? Really what? I'm totally confused. One thing's clear. This lunch lady has got a thing against prosecutors. Didn't mean to click that. I'm sorry. So what exactly was it you witnessed, Miss Star? It was a fascinating spectacle, to be sure. I now feel I know what they say when they talk about a woman's wrath. To see Lana Sky wield that knife so... Her knife flashed in anger, bringing him to a sad end. It was truly a sight to see. You mean you saw the very moment of the crime? The sound of his silvery ties to this world being cruelly cut still rings in my ears, and the rhythmic beat of Lana Sky's knife. Wait a second, you know Lana Sky? Of course, it's quite a feat becoming chief prosecutor. How many lunchboxes of sin did she pack to make that journey, I wonder? She always travels light. Now, why would this pretty lunch lady know the chief prosecutor's name? Did you have a bad experience with a prosecutor, Miss Star? I sense some hostility. Hostility? Ha! Perhaps. Prosecutors are all alike, and the bigger they get, the worse they smell. Kind of like 10-day-old clams in the chowder. I wonder if Miss Stars was involved in some sort of legal trouble in the past. Oh boy, I forgot how convoluted this case was. Oof. I'm in for a ride then. That'd be a sure cause of food poisoning, scientifically speaking, of course. I mean, now you're talking cough up queen. I thought you were just a lunch vendor, but now I'm not so sure. Okay. Could we ask you a bit about yourself, Miss Star? I come here every day to sell lunches. I import only the freshest and best from the Far East. For some reason, the boxed lunches are a hit here. Why not make the lunches here rather than import them? Did you say something? No. Only true connoisseurs can understand. The kind you can only tell someone who has tried General TSO's or TSO's Trilobite lunch set. Ah, never mind, you win. I don't even want to appreciate part of a Trilobite's flavor. Anyway, I come here every day to sell lunches. My boyfriend works in the security room here at the prosecutor's office. Your boyfriend? See, the security room over there? The glass-walled booth? I sell my lunches and, since I'm here anyway, I drop in to see him. Since you're here anyway, I guess selling lunches is more important than romance. So, to scientifically analyze the data available so far, you, Miss Star, are a lunch vendor with an ulterior motive for coming here. Useful analysis. Not. A defense attorney must be able to fight. How about you? Do you think you can win? How about tackling Lunchland's Pickle Supreme lunchbox? Wow, it's really crunchy. Box of pickles? Kind of a sad lunch if you ask me. About this card. Lunchland vendors only accept cash, no cards. Especially not a card belonging to someone else. No, this isn't a credit card. It's an ID card. It belongs to a detective. And you're showing this to me, the lunch lady, why? That's like showing a fine honeyed ham to a detective. Why do I always feel like I'm being mocked? Guess we can go there. Just... okay. This is fancy. February 22nd, High Prosecutor's Office. Run up to Edward's office, I guess. Yeah. This is the kind of room that just screams, I can do the job. Quite a change from your office, really. Thanks. Look, look. There's a trophy here. There's a trophy or something here. A trophy? What? That shield. It takes real nerve to it takes real nerve to display stuff like this. Whoever's office this is, they must be a real stuck-up jerk. Phoenix Wright, you never tiring of you never tire of prying into other people's business, do you? That voice. Long time no see, Edgeworth. Huh? Ah, Mr. Edgeworth. You know him from somewhere? Of course, I'm his biggest fan. My sister introduced us once and... Right, her sister is the chief prosecutor after all. Well, what brings you here? I'll warn you, I've been known to be a real stuck-up jerk. No, did I? No. I was just Mr. Wright here, Hey, don't blame me. We're just here to investigate a murder case. Murder? A body was found in this nasty bright red sports car in the parking lot. That would be my car. What of it? What? Your car? I'll say one thing. She certainly can scream. So, the body was found in your car? Go ahead, say it, right? You think I did it, don't you? After you went through all that trouble to help me last year, no less. No, we don't think you did it. I mean, it was my sister who stabbed him. Wait, no, she didn't do that. I mean... Oh, Emma. Wait. So you're the chief prosecutor's little sister, then? Yes, sir. Emma Sky. It's nice to meet you again. Now that didn't sound forced at all. Ah, now I remember. You've really grown. I'll admit, it was a surprise for me too. To think that my own car would become the scene of a murder. More surprising still, I'm being forced to prove my superior's guilt. I can understand. Oh, wait, what did you say? Lana Sky is the chief prosecutor, the top prosecutor in the district. She can't prosecute herself, so I'll be the prosecutor at the trial tomorrow. You? Mr. Edgeworth? Chief Prosecutor Sky. Yes, we first worked together on a case 2 years ago. It was my first big case. That's right, I remember. 2 years ago. I wasn't even a lawyer yet. Since then, I always felt that she was looking out for me. It appears I was mistaken. Mistaken? Why? I mean, I know she's not the warmest person, but I'm sure she felt some responsibility for you. Then, why? Why did she stab someone in the trunk of my car? Not only that, she stabbed him with my knife. What? Mr. Edgeworth, your knife was the murder weapon? To be specific, it was the knife I kept in the toolbox in the trunk of my car. Edgeworth's knife, the murder weapon, usually in Edgeworth's toolbox. Traces of victim's blood, no prints. Edgeworth. Any clues? For some reason, I expected Emma to say, "You have a knife." I guess it would. That was my first thought as well. Why would Edgeworth have a knife? But if it was in a toolbox, then I get it. This must be the victim's blood, right? Either that or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway? Hey, maybe he spends his weekends roughing it in the wild. Edgeworth? In the wild? I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely. Are you kidding? I always picture him as an outdoorsman. Now there's a scary thought. Hmm, nothing else of interest. Edgeworth, what? Are you sure you didn't do it? Come on, can he take a joke? You have a strange sense of humor, Mr. Wright. To be honest, it's a bit of a miracle I'm still here at all. What do you mean? Rumors. You've heard the rumors about me, haven't you? Miles Edgeworth. It's hard to remember a time where there weren't rumors about this guy. Forging evidence, arranging false testimony, illegal searches, you name it. Thanks to you, my innocence was established in the trial at the end of last year. However, there are some who say I'm still the one responsible for the current incident. What? That's crazy. Some people need very little excuse to think ill of others. It's a fact of life, impossible to stop. But some of them even go as far as to present me with toys like this. They think it's funny. Toys? That bronze shield? There's gotta be a story behind that one. I've been wondering, what the heck is this? It has a big K on it. Of prosecutors. Huh? What's that? It's the King of Prosecutors trophy. King of Prosecutors? It's a great honor. They send that shield to the best prosecutor each year. What? So? So that K, that's... K stands for King. Yeah, you got a problem with that? I didn't design the thing. King of Prosecutors. Kind of like Employee of the Month, only better. King of Prosecutors trophy given to Edgeworth. King of Prosecutors at the police department on the day of the murder. Why is my... Must be my Joy-Cons moving like that. It was just moving automatically for some reason. So that's the King of Prosecutors shield, huh? Well done, Edgeworth. You must be proud to be the King of Prosecutors. Congratulations, King of Prosecutors. Please stop saying that. That still doesn't explain one thing. Why is the tip of this shield broken off? Oh wait. Steel Samurai. My, what an amazing bouquet. Just right for Mr. Edgeworth. No kidding. Hey, there's a card in it. Back from the dead. Wendy! Wendy? I've heard that name somewhere before. And besides, beside it, a giant steel samurai. Wow, I want one. Huh? There's something written on the bottom of his foot. Between a rock and a hard place. Wendy. Wendy? Is she Mr. Edgeworth's fiance? Oof. I don't think so. A work desk. It's quite tidy, as one might expect. What a nice desk. Easy to use and easy on the eyes. It's polished so well, I can see my own reflection. Strange. Why did I just picture Detective Gumshoe? Maybe I'll take that name plaque as a souvenir. Don't. He'll sue you. Ooh, cute. What a pretty tea set. I go more for the instant tea bags myself. Amazing. The drawer below is filled with packets of tea leaves. They're all sorted by place of origin and flavor. Look at this royal blend. What an exquisitely splendid concoction. There's such a thing as taking a hobby too far. Whoa, these are all case files? They're stacked up to the ceiling. There's even a ladder. Odd. I thought Edgeworth wasn't good with heights. He must have someone get them for him. Strange. Why did I just picture Detective Gumshoe? He must study these case reports so closely. He's so cool. You wouldn't say that if you saw him sweating bullets up on that ladder. Hey, a chessboard. I'm not too up on my chess, but it looks like blue's in a bit of a tight spot. The red knights have surrounded the blue pawn. Huh? Those horses are mounted knights. Their swords have really sharp edges. And check out that poor pawn. His head is kind of spiky. Kind of reminds me of you. Mr. Edgeworth must have been an avid chess player. What's wrong, Mr. Wright? The game misspoke there. He is fine with heights, but he's not fine with ladders because because in an earthquake it fall. Yeah, that makes more sense. Maybe it was lost in the translation. Edges surrounding a pawn with spiky hair. Nah, it's nothing. Mr. Edgeworth had such a comfy sofa. Sofas like this make me want to curl up and take a nap. I bet he pores over his case files here until the wee hours of the morning. Then he takes off his jacket, rolls up his sleeves, and goes to sleep using his arms as a pillow. I don't believe it. She's actually daydreaming about Edgeworth working. I bet in the morning he has sofa hair and little creases in his cheek from the seams. He's so cool. Sofa hair is cool? Wow, this jacket is even lassier than his usual ones. You fool, Edgeworth never sleeps. Nope, always working on a case. This must be his lucky travel jacket. Lucky jacket, right? I've never seen him wear it. I'm sure there's a story behind it why it's in a frame. Little do you know, Emma. Maybe I'll be naughty and take a picture. She's getting way too excited about this. Alright. I want to examine this. Hey, check it out. There's a metal plate here. It looks like the names of all the previous recipients are engraved on it. Wow, one guy's listed a bunch of times here. One karma! I guess he must be a foreigner. Yeah, that's probably it. Well, wherever he's from, he must have been an amazing prosecutor. I'd like to meet this Mr. Von Karma sometime. When she says it, his name does have kind of a ring to it. Oh, Emma. Nothing else, I guess. I once dreamed of being a defense attorney a long time ago. Maybe try presenting the trophy to Edgeworth? I'll pretty much present everything. What? You wanted to be a defense attorney, Mr. Edgeworth? Yet my path is laid out clearly before me. I have no time to reflect on what might have been. See if he knows this Goodman guy. Say, Edgeworth, I was wondering about this. Mr. Wright! Huh? What? Are you sure you should be showing that to Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, he'll take it for sure, won't he? I wish I could be on the same side as Mr. Edgeworth. But then my sister would be found guilty. If she sighs any deeper, I'm going to start getting depressed. It's against my policy to discuss evidence with the defense, especially with you. doesn't like you much, does he, Mr. Wright? Nah, with Edgeworth it's never personal. It's all about winning tomorrow. So, basically, this says you were the best of the best last year, huh? You can take that foolish grin elsewhere, right? I lost a day of work to receive that travesty. Huh? Why's that? I had to go to the police department to receive that broken shield. The police department? Yes, right next to the police station downtown. You've been there, haven't you? Where Detective Gumshoe works. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering something about your shield. Why is it broken? What does it matter? I've got more important things to worry about. Oh, right. He doesn't seem too concerned about his award, for better or for worse. Yesterday was a very busy day for the prosecutor's office. Maybe we should ask him more about yesterday? Could you tell me more about yesterday? The day of the murder. Yesterday was the annual cleaning day at the prosecutor's office. Cleaning day? Working with the police department, we sort and file all the evidence for solved cases. We call it evidence transferal. Wiping your hands of old cases, in other words. Oh, and another thing, a ceremony was held at the police department. There's an annual review and awards for outstanding police officers and prosecutors. And that's when you got the shield? I was at the police department yesterday afternoon. I got back here at 12 past 5. That's very precise. People like myself and Mr. Edgeworth pride ourselves on our precision, Mr. Wright. No, I place little faith in my memory. The only thing I trust is solid evidence. Parking stub. Records of parking in the prosecutor's office lot. This is the parking stub from the underground lot. The murder took place at around 5:15. So the murder happened right after you got back. What, right? I'd appreciate it if you direct that suspicious glare elsewhere. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm Edgeworth. What is it? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Report? What? Did you find new evidence in the case against Chief Prosecutor Sky? I don't like the way this conversation is going at all. Sky, sir? No, sir. No name of that kind, sir. Not in this report, sir. I think I just heard Edgeworth's lid blow. Mr. Edgeworth's lid isn't on very tight, is it? I made a clear request to the police department, did I not? I need to focus on the trial tomorrow, so don't bring me anything unrelated. Sir, but sir... I'm just following orders, sir. They told me to bring this to you. I wasn't aware... Give me your name. Yes, sir. Meekins, sir. Officer Meekins. Right, Officer Meekins. Take your report and leave. And good luck with that raise next month. But sir, I didn't know. Poor guy. Looks like he was absent on the day they gave out brains and good lucks. Right. Yes, sir. God, he caught me off guard. As you can see, I'm busy. You may leave now. Let's see what he says, Mr. Wright. The victim was a detective from the same department as that patrolman just now. Go down to the police department. You can ask more there. Uh-huh, thanks. Seems to have finally calmed down at least. Let me just check if there's anything interesting on this. Miles Edgeworth, 12 past 17. This is dated the day of the crime. The murder took place 3 minutes after Edgeworth parked in his car. If only he was held up at a couple of extra red lights, he wouldn't have been caught up in this whole affair. Perhaps. Just goes to show you never know what'll happen when you run a yellow light. Oh, no back. Okay. February 22nd, Police Department entrance. Whew, we're finally here. Why would they put the police department so far away from the prosecutor's office? Beats me, that took almost 30 minutes by taxi. And traffic wasn't even that bad. Police department, huh? I've only ever been to criminal affairs next door. Hold on, what's that? Disturbing. Why does it undulate like that? Oh wait, I know, this is the Blue Badger. They're trying to make him the police mascot. Well, Mr. Wright, you sure know a lot about the police. Still, he does seem familiar somehow. Forget the Blue Badger. Who's that next to him? Someone appears to be dancing with the Blue Badger. Uh-oh, he noticed me. He sure is running over here fast. Hey, pal, what are you doing here? That's my line, Detective Gumshoe. Specifically, why were you dancing over there? What? Well, at least he doesn't seem to be busy. This is our chance to get information. Hey, I'll have you know I'm a very busy man, pal. I'll give you one word of advice, pal. You'd better not agree to defend the suspect in this case. But why not? Huh? Well, it's just that the chief prosecutor has confessed to the crime. She says she summoned the detective to the prosecutor's office and she killed him. But what if she's not telling the truth? Yes, well, no, come on, pal. There's plenty of evidence against her. But what if the evidence was faked? Hey, pal, can I speak to you for a second? Huh? Me? Why is this little girl so peeved at me? She's a relative of the suspect. She's Lana Sky's sister. Whoa, the chief prosecutor's little sister. Just please investigate this case carefully, okay? Scientifically. Yes, sir. Oh, by the way, you might want to keep your voices down. You don't want to be overheard using words like faked. Huh? It's a sensitive issue with us these days. So, what are you doing here, Detective Gumshoe? Me? Oh, well, nothing really. They kicked me out of criminal affairs. Detective Gumshoe? What did you do this time? What do you mean, this time? Then, what happened? I know things are busy right now. I mean, with my sister's case and all. It's true. We've never had a chief prosecutor murder anyone before. Only the highest ranked people are being led into criminal affairs now. The lowest ranking guy in there is our chief of detectives. They're not letting any of us rank and file detectives in at all. None of you? I know this is an important trial, but isn't that a little odd? So anyway, I thought I'd spend the day getting the badger dance down, pal. Isn't there anything else you could be doing? The chief of police himself is directing this investigation, pal. An Officer Marshall was assigned to the underground parking lot. Officer Marshall? Now that I think about it, Emma did seem to know that Marshall guy. A patrolman in charge of a crime scene. It's unheard of, pal. Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Edgeworth got yesterday. Right at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently he's forgotten. But I was proud of Mr. Edgeworth for winning that award. even with all the naysayers in the prosecutor's office. Naysayers? Must be because of the rumors. Found in Mr. Edgeworth's car, stabbed with Mr. Edgeworth's knife, huh? What would drive Chief Prosecutor Sky to do such a thing? Wait, I mean, sure, of course someone else really did it. Someone who must have a grudge against Mr. Edgeworth. The car and the knife do seem a little too well organized to be a coincidence. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, what could have happened? We have to find out a little more about what's going on with Edgeworth. He's in a tough spot again. Well, it all started with the murder of that defense attorney, Hammond. But Mr. Edgeworth was found innocent. Listen, pal, there have always been rumors about Mr. Edgeworth. Forging evidence, making deals with witnesses. Nothing outright, but there were always whispered rumors. Ever since he was accused of murder, no one's whispering. They're practically shouting. But there's no evidence against him. Well, Mr. Edgeworth has always had unusually strong ties to the department higher-ups. It's only natural that people would be suspicious. I have to wonder, were there any rumors about Von Karma back when he was prosecuting? I mean, he's much more obvious than Edgeworth in terms of forgery. Well, Von Karma did get penalized for forging, but I don't think anyone would have the courage of speaking up against Von Karma. Well, except Gregory Edgeworth. Anyway, this latest case has started a new rumor. People say the only reason he took the case. Also, with Von Karma, in a flashback at the end of the case, they do say the chief prosecutor at the time was covering for him. People say the only reason he took this case is because he's aiming for the chief prosecutor position himself. What? But I know the truth, pal. Nobody wants to be the one who has to prosecute the chief prosecutor. Mr. Edgeworth is biting the bullet on this one. He's doing this for all of us. So Miles just seemed like an easier target, huh? I would assume so. I mean, he's not exactly as intimidating as Von Karma. Detective Gumshoe? What can you tell me about this? Huh? Hey pal, this is a detective's ID card. You can't just keep that, you have to turn it into the police. It's people like you that get me into so much trouble all the time. Meaning Detective Gumshoe must drop his card a lot. Let's see, Bruce Goodman. Goodman? Sounds familiar. Nah, my mistake. But didn't you work with him together in criminal affairs? Oh, now I remember. Bruce Goodman. He's the victim. That's what I thought. Can you tell us more, Detective Gumshoe? So, this ID card belonged to the victim. He was a detective like myself. Detective Bruce Goodman. Don't you think it's strange? I mean, why would the victim's ID card be lying on the ground where we found it? Well, Detective Goodman should have been at the police department yesterday. There was an evidence transfer for a case he handled 2 years ago. Evidence transfer? Mr. Edgeworth mentioned that too. But Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Well, that's the thing. It's hard to say this, but word is that the chief prosecutor, Sky, called him out there to the parking lot. And Lana's confessing as much. Detective, here's my attorney's badge. You show this. You show this to me every time we meet, pal. Real men show this police badge. Enough said. I wish I had a badge. Even an ID card would be nice. Wait, speaking of ID cards, I found that detective's card, didn't I? Yeah, we did present it. We presented everything to him, basically. Guess we can examine. I was wondering about that. What? The dancing blue badger? It's my masterpiece! Oh, Gumshoe. You made this, Detective Gumshoe? The chief threw together some designs, and I just did my thing, pal. And a nice work. It's battery powered, so it can go anywhere. There's no switch, so it just dances. So it just dances until the battery dies. Poor Blue Badger, fated to dance until he drops. Blue Badger panel, a work of art designed by the chief of detectives and created by Detective Gumshoe. And that's all I know about that. I'm not officially on the case, you know. Thank you. Why aren't you handling the case, Detective Gumshoe? We met the guy who is... What was his name? The guy in the parking lot. That'd be Officer Marshall. He was appointed directly by the chief of police. Officer Marshall? Is he some kind of Wild West sheriff or something? No! Jake Marshall is just a regular officer. From West LA. For a moment there, I wasn't sure. Look, pal. Let me try to make things a little easier for you. Show them this, and they'll let you examine the crime scene, maybe. Letter of introduction, received from Detective Gumshoe. Allows bearer to investigate the crime scene. I'll be surprised if this gets us anywhere. Just act like you're supposed to be there, and nobody will look at you twice, pal. I was wondering about that. What? Oh. I saw it didn't have the check mark on it, but okay. I always get excited when I come to a police station. Why is that? It just feels like I've jumped into a movie. Huh? You know, with all the police and criminals. Well, I don't know if this is all that exciting. Sure it is. Look at those two officers over there. They're probably talking about the latest bust. Funny, I thought they were talking about the weather. Look, that patrolman is saluting the other guy. He must be a detective. And then I said, "Hey, you do that. Your soup will get cold, buddy." That's hilarious, sir. I laughed so hard I cried. I guess he wasn't saluting. He was wiping tears from his eyes. They make a good pair. The detectives in there look pretty busy. I just imagine right now, behind those doors, a police drama in action. Somehow the thought fails to excite me. The usual wanted posters are hanging up on the bulletin board here. Do you know this face? If you do, dial 911. You know, Mr. Wright, I always thought it was kind of funny. I've never seen anyone who looked like the people in these posters. They hardly even look human. She has a point. The banner here is announcing the crime fighting campaign. Nice slogan. I wonder if they'll be selling fingerprint sets. I don't think it's that kind of campaign. What a family wouldn't want to set at home? What family wouldn't want to set at home? It's good for finding out who snuck into the cookie jar. I think most families can figure that out without the extra help. Mr. Wright, do you know why patrol cars are painted black and white? No idea, why? Well, I think they're designed after a panda. A panda? Not that I have scientific proof, it's just a theory. Do you mind me asking how you came up with that theory? It was when I was on a school trip, I saw a patrol car, and it came to me. We had just been at the zoo, see? What about zebras? Or did they not have those at your zoo? February 22nd, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. Looks like the investigation is still going. I have to be getting back to the shop. Sorry, looks like I'll be stuck in this pit till the sun sleeps. I'll see you in my dreams tonight then, baby. Oh, still here? Ah, hello. What a surprise looks, didn't I mention? I've got a boyfriend in criminal affairs too. What happened to the security guard? Hey, what's wrong, Bambina? You're looking like a doggy that's lost its herd. Jake Marshall. Strange guy to put in charge of a crime scene. There's something I wanted to ask you. The scene of the crime. A cold grave for men who've lost their dreams. And me, I watch over them as they sleep, dreaming of the desert's harsh judgment. He's asleep. Well, should we show this hopeless case something to catch his interest? Is he still asleep if I... There's something I wanted to ask you. Okay, guess we show him the letter of introduction. Would you mind reading this for me? What's this? I want you. Fan letters to me go right into the spittoon. It's a letter of introduction from Detective Gumshoe. May we investigate? Gumshoe? That old cow dog? He holding a birthday party or something? Huh? Look, or it should say letter of introduction. It says invitation. Ah, I think you just miswrote it. Wait, why am I getting all defensive here? No worries, this proves it's from Detective Gumshoe. Better than a blood test. I guess I'd better let you in then. Thank you, Officer Marshall. Oh, that's right, he's a patrolman, not a detective. Which reminds me... Hey, wait a sec. Isn't a crime scene supposed to be handled by a detective or higher? Well, folks, the clues are calling. Welcome to our gold strike. Be like the settler. Strike out for lands unknown. Manifest destiny. Let's have a hootenanny. Note to self, police investigations are like settling land. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Say I won't be needing this anymore. Detective Gumshoe's letter of introduction crumpled and discarded. Alright, this thing is bugging me. This looks like a cell phone. Scientific analysis would suggest this belonged to the victim. I can't think of anyone else it could belong to. What's so scientific about that? Should we check it out? Yeah. Right. Let's check it out. I want to open it. Ah, there. This phone's still on redial screen. On the redial screen. Redial? Mr. Wright, most phones keep a record of all the calls you've made and received. You just press the blue button to display the last number you called. Convenient, isn't it? I'm surprised you didn't know about it. Sorry to disappoint you, but even I know about things like redial. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just you never know with people from your generation. Whatever, let's check this phone out. Right? I can even zoom in. Now, to see who the owner of this phone called last. Note to self, the defense attorney doesn't think first, he just pushes the button. Hey, that song, I know that. Hey, what's going on over there? Ah, oh, sorry. I see you, partner. You pressed the redial on their phone, didn't you? Oh, well, yeah. Whose phone is this anyway? It was on the ground over there. Whose is it? That belongs to Chief Prosecutor Sky. What? It's my sister's? She apparently dropped it when she was taken into custody right after the crime. Look, the last call was made right when the murder occurred. Looks like she was fixing to call someone. Except she only spoke for a few seconds according to this. Who did she call? No idea. Sorry, partner. Nah, I got a question for you, partner. I heard the phone ring just now. One of those newfangled ringtones. Oh, that? Oh, I'm sorry, that was my phone. What? Your phone? Yeah, it's kind of strange, but someone called me right as we picked up the other phone, a wrong number. I hope you're not lying. They shoot you for that in Texas, partner. Uh-oh, I've incited the wrath of the Lone Star Patrolman. Okay, is Phoenix Wright just... I mean, come on. Is it not obvious that she called him? Will it ring again? There's no need to push this again. What's wrong? You look like I do during finals. Never mind, it's nothing. Okay then, never mind. Okay, let's continue examining. This appears to be the car where the body was found. It looks like the lock on the trunk is busted. The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. Quite a luxury car. It just screams that I have money to burn. Yeah, prosecutors get the big bucks. A block. This area is reserved for prosecutors. Defense attorneys are relegated to B block. I dream of the day when I will be able to park my car here. I'll go over to B block to buy my hamburgers from you, Mr. Wright. I'm not planning on giving up my job that soon. This is rope, is it? Yep, they laid it in the outline of the victim's body. So wait, the victim must have died when the killer closed the trunk on him. You have got to be the only person I know that would come to that conclusion. What's this? This looks like a note of some sort. Look, something's written on it. 6-75 12/2. Oh, that's S, not a 5. You're right, let's see. There's a name printed on the paper above, Goodman. Maybe it fell out of his pocket when he was killed. Well, so, what does it mean, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Note to self, for deductive reasoning, go to Edgeworth, not Wright. Sir Edgeworth wouldn't know what this means either. Goodman's note. Victim's memo found in the car trunk. Okay. Officer Marshall, could you tell us more about the victim? Good men always die young, remember that, partner? Could you be a little more specific? Bruce Goodman. He was a detective, right? Well, aren't you a feisty doggy there now? Detective Goodman was tapped here at 5:15. The smiling Madonna told me this tale. I think he means the witness, Miss Angel Starr. One stab to the chest. A fine piece of work. This here's the autopsy report. Thank you. Goodman's autopsy report. Death to loss of blood. One knife wound. Died within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. Was my sister involved with the victim in any way? Funny you should mention that, Bambina. Chief Prosecutor Sky and Detective Goodman had nothing in common at all. Nothing in common? They apparently worked together on a case a few years back. So there's no motive. Goodman wasn't a particularly gifted detective. That's one of the reasons why he didn't do much work with the chief prosecutor. But my sister called the victim here on the day of the murder, right? Here to this parking lot? So it seems. Like calling an unarmed man to shoot at a high noon. So there's no connection between Detective Goodman and my sister. That's correct, but there's a goldmine of evidence against her. And the prospector tomorrow is prospector? Okay, tomorrow is none other than Edgeworth himself. I'm afraid your sister's fate is decided, Bambina. Many condolences. Officer Marshall! Yeah, Bambina? How can you say that? You and my sister, you were... Is there something between this couple and her sister that I don't know about? I apologize, Bambina. Something must have gotten to me. Maybe it's that dry wind that's blowing through the prosecutor's office. He's a cowboy, so he says prospector instead of prosecutor? Ah. Oh. I'm dumb. Dry wind or ill wind? Someone's up to something here, but who? A really dumb cowboy joke. Okay. Suspicion about Mr. Edgeworth have been flying around for nearly 2 years now. Forged evidence and arranging testimonies, you mean? He was unbeatable because he did whatever it took to win. Unbeatable, that is, until he met you. But rumors are just rumors, aren't they? These are prosecutors we're talking about. Evidence is everything to them. If you follow the rumors about Edgeworth to their source, you find one person. But they're off limits, untouchable, you might say. One person? Ooh. Hate to say this, but it's your sister, Bambina. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. What? My sister? Edgeworth couldn't rustle all those cattle by himself. Some people load their guns with bullets. Some people load them with deals. So you're saying Edgeworth was making deals to win trials? Where there's gunshots, there's bound to be bullets. That's what the old-timers say. There's a big old secret hidden around here somewhere. Everyone knows it. Is that why Detective Gumshoe was taken off the case? Did they target him because he was closest to Edgeworth? I don't mean any offense, but... Officer Marshall, you're a patrolman, right? Not a detective. You calling me out? They shoot you for that in Texas. Huh? I was one of them fancy shoot detectives till 2 years ago, to tell you the truth. Oh really? Now he tells me. But you're a patrolman now, so how can you be in charge of a crime scene? Nothing gets by you, does it, Bambina? So, why are you in charge? No reason. We're just short on hands right now and keeping an eye out in the meantime. That's odd though. Detective Gumshoe was saying he had nothing to do. Nothing important at least. He's nothing but a sad old cowdog that can't find his tail. Maybe it's because he runs with that Edgeworth, eh? Edgeworth? That cow dog's been kicked out of his cattle run by order of the chief of police. Just he doesn't realize it yet. Detective Gumshoe kicked out of the investigation. So, well, how are we doing, Mr. Wright? I guess we got some clues. I have an autopsy report, a note from the victim, and a cell phone. So, you think we'll be okay? Well, the only thing still bothering me is that Lana is confessing to the crime. She says she did it. No problem. I can guarantee that she's not the criminal. Oh, by the way, Emma. Yes? I know that song your phone plays when it rings. What? It's the Steel Samurai theme song, isn't it? That popular TV show for kids? The phone that rang earlier wasn't mine. It was yours. At 18 past 5, just after the murder took place. Your sister called you, didn't she, Emma? I'm sorry. Oh, so that's why he acted dumb. Can you tell me what you talked about? She hung up right away. I see. Property of Lana Sky. Last call made to her sister Emma at 18 past 5 on the day of the murder. A detective is murdered, and the suspect is a top prosecutor in the district. I've got a bad feeling about this. Like, maybe I still don't know everything that went on here. To be continued. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Kai, you remind me a lot of Mia. There is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. February 23rd, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. Oh, I did this by complete accident, but I guess we can examine this. I didn't know you could examine the attorney badge. So this is what the back of the badge looks like. Yeah, I pressed the R button by complete accident. His serial number is not the same as I remember. Which game do you remember it from? might have changed after the whole 7 years thing. Each badge has a number carved into it. That way you can tell which attorney it belongs to. You mean you couldn't lend your badge to anyone? No, I'd be found out right away. Well, that's no fun. Okay, guess that's that. I played the Trilogy on the 3DS. Did you play any other game? No, that's not what I meant to ask. Never mind. I wanted to say something, but I forgot. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. So they changed it from the 3DS version. Weird. The judgment... I might be mixing the number up with one of the other attorney's numbers. It would be weird if they just changed it for no reason. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Let me double check that. Alright. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. Ah, and for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up! Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? What happened 2 years ago? Aha! I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well, you may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. I can't find anything online, so I need to grab my 3DS. Okay. Gotcha. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans, the parking lot with Edgeworth's car. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Okay. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. Seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? Witness's account. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to Gary Starr. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then, she thrust the pointing tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. That their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods would always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless. Completely unbiased. Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. This boyfriend, he's the detective. Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend, you have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot, in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. Ooh! I pressed the wrong button. I meant to press A. Wait, let me save then. Don't want to lose more life points for accidentally. Okay, yeah, so there's a wired fence. You sensed something? So you're saying you had the premonition of the murder? It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes, it was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin shock full seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the street. A greenhorn. Hmm. Then I must be. Then I must be hard, yellow, and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odors of an old cheese to match. In any case, there, in the lot, I felt something stir in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to Garish's car. By Garish's car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed, it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you're sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. She's telling the truth. We're doomed. But just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. The number on the 3DS is... so it's the same one. They didn't change it. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you're a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh, rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of the lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. Oh, a photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. Suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Oui. The moment of the crime as photographed by Angel Star. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Sky. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. I mean, she isn't holding one in this picture, but... I'm gonna continue pressing. Tell me more about this knife and the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can testify as to your ability to kill an egg, I mean, a person. Hmm? Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So, the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into the Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. I said that before anything else. Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me feel calmer. Don't smile like that. And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. Ouch. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat. But it's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes. It's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Ah, you got a better idea? Objection. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. It seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you're run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves. Made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Ah! These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. Yeah, I guess it doesn't have any fingerprints. This must be the victim's blood, right? Yeah, I already saw this. I'm just trying to see if we can find any clues on the murder weapon. Okay, please, Joy-Con. Oh yeah. Maybe it's... I would assume it's because they didn't know Edgeworth would be coming back. Yeah, I'm still gonna press. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Ah, impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. Got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Okay. I'm gonna save again because I'm afraid. But I think it's because they didn't know Edgeworth would be coming. No? Maybe I just present this evidence? Nope. Like, that bothers me. How... I remember that being the evidence. Yeah, how did she know Edgeworth? We found the right contradiction, but how did they know Edgeworth was coming? Maybe I'm supposed to examine it? Miles Edgeworth, 1712. This is dated the day of the crime. The murder took place 3 minutes after Edgeworth parked his car. If only he was held up at... Yeah. Nothing was updated or something. Then... the photo. Nope. No. It's weird. Huh. Maybe the murder weapon, or... Hold on, let me reload the save. Just so we have more tries. Because maybe she didn't know... Maybe she couldn't have known it was in his toolbox, or... I guess that was it. So many contradictions. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murderers something something. Mommy, our prosecutors bad people. The defendant has a request. We asked that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Sky planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh, the knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Ugh. Order, order, order. Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Yeah, no. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Sky, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needs. The prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Angel's deduction. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Again and again? No, that's not correct. The autopsy says she was only stabbed once, doesn't it? It does sound like a lot of premeditation, doesn't it? So, if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Angel's deduction. One knife wound. He says she stabbed him again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that. Oh, are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Star. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this. But take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Ah, you're quite right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness, you got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something? For blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffle looked like blood. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. But wait. There is blood. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be. Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection chopped liver for? What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that. But something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude. But back to business. What? Well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well, I do remember some things accurately at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of the testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. That's true. The next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. Be right back? Alright. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot? Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. You're quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr! Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you will. So where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite unnatural, I think, for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press for more details? Press her. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The lunch land car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in Block B. In B block. So you witnessed the murder from here. That will make it about 30 feet from the cart, yes? Is that correct, Mr.? Yes, that's right. There was a chain link fence right in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the Coffee Queen, lunch lady athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high too. So how did Miss Sky not get away? yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word. So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Phone? She can't mean. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately, my memory is like a salmon. Sorry about that. My memory is like it's like a salmon heading upstream, you see? And no, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? Oh, that's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone? Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. Things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. The word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 5:18. I saw it all. How she tried the cell phone on the wall but had to use her cell instead. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha, I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. When I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? Huh. She made to escape. Could you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté of foie gras. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The other? Ah! The parking lot entrance. That's right. Doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run. I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. So apparently, sorry, I got really sick for a second. I had to find some medicines. No worries, dude. Apparently, Mr. Wright saw something on the statement, but oh yeah, I guess. Whoops. couldn't have seen her because of the partition thingy. Miss Star, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Star, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If, indeed, you were in big block, you couldn't have seen it. Wow! Order, what is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. Gah. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw, where she saw it, the order of events. Huh. It can either be where she saw it or the order of events. Let me think. Where she saw, yeah, that was... If I go in... No, it has to be where she saw it. Because we know she made the phone call after the murder. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless if I've ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony for them to now points in one direction. From the oh, we can even slide. I can't access the court record. So like, no, even from here she couldn't have seen the telephone. So maybe from the security room. Because the only way she could have seen it is if she was in this like sort of area. So either the security room or somewhere around here. Security room could work, yeah. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. Oh yeah, because she also could have seen the murder. Right. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are so many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. But then the problem is, how did she take this picture from the front? That's the problem, isn't it? I remember in the testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Star, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Star. Order, order, witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective, you should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilt will be punished. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. Well, that's the problem. If she saw it from the security guard office, she couldn't have taken the photo from the front. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they are guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Star witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? Difference in lighting, distance to the crime, angle view of the crime. Why, the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor and, she would have sort of a more 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why? Oh, that's not right? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Distance. I'll try distance. She came from the other side, so she must have had to go all the way around, I think. Yeah, you might. Yeah, I think you're right. Distance of the crime. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what we could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Ah, yeah, you were right. Miss Star, you witnessed the crime scene from the guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness, you... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a peanut butter and jelly lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend? He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew it, what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked, I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Have any evidence to stop this? I keep saving, but I don't want to fail, so I'm gonna raise an objection. 5 minutes between the witnessing and the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. I've got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you're a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Sky dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yarg! Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant, and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We squared that can shot, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Hold it. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist on me. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Oh, a triple-decker. Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of a lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was of course the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was a blood found on that shoe. Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Oh yeah, Lana did say she cut herself. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can accept this as evidence. What? You must know the two rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. That's weird. It makes his case, though. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, the shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. And is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. Could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems that you have another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim's shoe with white enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Sky. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Sure. I want to examine the shoe, though. Alright. It's completely dark inside. Oh! Oh, that's quite something. Ah, there's blood on here, too. On the sole of the shoe, it's gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood, it's horrible. Blood might be an important clue. I would agree with that. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Anna's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. But yeah, this blood. So, you brought it up to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have blood stains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman? As I said, there were two types of blood found on the shoe. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Oh, well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there. Which means we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skies. So about the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her differently to the death of that ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. She proves it. It's false, decisive evidence. I Can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like it kind. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? Problem? It's critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? There is a problem. I'm not imagining things. I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? That's what hear about Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Well, he died in the car trunk, so the problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order. Well, witness? What? Where are you going, Mr. Wright? But it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? Hold it? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman, roar. I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the Lodgehog factory. Witness? Well, was the old drum empty? The old drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does it mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha, you don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that old drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the blood stains that would become evidence against her. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. Reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe. Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? His sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds Miss Lana Sky. Hold it! Little girl, what did you just say? Huh, me? Did you just say that I, Angel Star, I was on the prosecutor's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying that my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness. Don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberation is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough up, Queen. Look at this. Photograph. Added just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait. Look at the asphalt in the photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this was what your sister wanted anyway. Has it been added to the... No, it hasn't been added yet. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, whether or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one I submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem, right or wrong. I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court what is wrong with this picture. I mean, Right off the bat, there is this thing here. Yeah, the actual car and this weird thing right here. Is that what they mean? Try that, yeah. I guess there's no penalty for failing. The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf or any kind of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. Ah, I see, and what's that suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So if there is something sticking out of the muffler, what does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you have already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to the case. Oh yeah, because she mentioned it on the phone. Miss Starr, I recall your testimony for the court. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had been confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Ah, yeah. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, whoo! Ah. Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once, and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew, that was close. But we made it. At least for now. This court was adjourned for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? To be continued. Do I continue? I suppose I can. February 23rd, 11:56 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. This might end up being a long stream. Mr. Wright. Huh? What? Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake about to reach the surface. But no matter how hard you pedal, you never seem to get there. Pretty much. Except today, we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, where we turn this is where we turn this trial around, right? Only weapon, a tiny insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. This case in general is pretty long, that is what I've heard. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall! Thought I'd come take a look, see at how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They've got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That's hard to slip out, huh? What is going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your own plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At your word ceremony that afternoon, Edgeworth's seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Hoo-wee. Actually, that means that it's now, since I haven't played this case, I'm wondering if it's like coincidence that she was talking about her muffler and a cloth happened to be in her muffler, or whether whether she intended it. Lana, that is. February 23rd, 12:32 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. I'd like to resume. What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. Oh my god, poor Edgeworth. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over. It can't be. This can't happen. I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe it's time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable. It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me, knock knock? Who's there? What's with this guy? A strange, stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. What on earth is he? It's you. Oh no, it's him, yeah. Oh, sorry I'm late, Aji. The roads are packed, it's just me. Long time no see, hi Aji. How you been? Swim much these days? Hello. No, I've been so busy. Keep pressing the R button. Busy swimsy. Aji, my boy. You have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Aji seems to be his nickname for the judge. I'm right. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. I'm sorry, but who are you? So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Hey, thanks. So sorry about a little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly. A little worthy? Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police? Ch- Chief of police? He's the top ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, to what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Mrs. Starr wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But to think that it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe on little Worthy's car, no less. SL9. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. SL9 too. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Oh, was that in the scarf? Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? Investigators are this lax. How do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I have no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or you didn't hear me? Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There is no mistaking that signature, is there? Miles Edgeworth. That's not fair. On the day of the crime I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major bundler is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah. The court accepts this new evidence. Well, I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure. I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? I don't see why not. Could you open it for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push a switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I can't my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. Okay. Press this button. Don't scare me like that. I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. And this dark red stain. Blood? Switchblade knife found at the crime scene, wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. This does not excuse the action of the police department. Let me just take another look at that knife. Specifically this tag. There's a small tag on the knife. It says SL92. What's that supposed to mean? I'm not sure, but it reminds me of a similar code. DL6, maybe it's a case number? That's weird. What? I don't remember where, but I think I've seen something like this before. Something similar to what's written on this tag. It wasn't that long ago either. Maybe I should check the court record again? There are also these fingerprints. Check the court records again. Ah. It's... I get it. It's SL9, but but we're reading it upside down. Okay, that makes sense. I wonder how that'll play in. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and the police, and this knife? Sure thing, not a problem, not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. What a mess. Time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, G. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Oh yeah, we did see a dual murder of sorts in the intro cutscene. Order. Anyway, we at the department were all flustered. As you might well assume, we're in the middle of a top secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright, 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. Chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well, however, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. So first, I want to save and see if I can directly present this piece of evidence. Oh, I can. Good. Wait a second. Haha, at last. An honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Ah, haha, an honest-to-goodness what do you mean from Aji. This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7s, 12/2. Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around and what do you get? Ah! 2nd February. No, 21st February. SL9. Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing that is written on this knife's tag. Order. Well, Chief? Ah, well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto. I win? Ah. What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say? Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice, nice. Good show, little Worthy. It was a murder weapon, as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to get an investigation. Something happened at the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there, Wright, my boy. Sharp, hungry. So something did happen. And why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You're busy. What with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? A detective was killed at the police department. See? What a mess. On the same day the detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. Suppose I could help. If you help me by giving me data on your case. Oh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing, and one thing only. What don't we know? We know when the victim died. That was 5:15. Oh, we know where the victim was found. It was in the other thingy. How the victim was killed. Well, how was the detective killed? How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. It was what we in the forest call a stabbing with a knife. A knife? That's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirit we're cooking now. But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the two cases than a cause of death. Seems like I'm going to have to press this a little harder. Time of the crime. 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? 5. 5:15. But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? It's just my gut feeling. But I said there's a 0.001% chance of that happening. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. It's not officially linked to this case so I can't talk much about it. How can you say that there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police? I can't just say anything I please, Righto, you understand? Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you can prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together. Whatever it is, I better find it and get to the bottom of this. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15. One at the prosecutor's office and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife! What was it doing there? I better check this knife out. We did, didn't we? Is there more evidence on the knife? Unless we're supposed to present the knife. New statement? Is there? Oh, but it was The knife was stolen from the department evidence room. From the department's evidence room. Wait, I'm going to save. I think we present the knife. The switchblade knife. Or not. Or gauges revealed. Maybe. No, we already saw this. Stolen at the department yet? Where'd I press that? You mean this statement or? I did present the knife at, or do you mean the normal knife? Nah. It'll be loader too. I did present the switchblade knife. Anyway, I'm gonna press this. So this knife, who was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. Was it in fact a murder weapon? No, I think we already saw this. Yeah, we did see this. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. I think I'm supposed to present evidence here. Since it was stolen. I was thinking that since the murder happened at the police department and the knife was stolen from there, well, yeah, that would make sense. The knife was stolen from there. Then the dude got murdered, and then it somehow wound up in the exhaust pipe. So that's what I think we ought to do, is prove a link. I'm also very curious about these finger marks. What if I zoom in? Never mind. I did present this switchblade on this statement. I'll try again, maybe but I think I did. Nah, it doesn't work. That didn't go so well at all. Two detectives were killed at one at... That can't be a coincidence. And that knife. What was it doing there? I better check this knife out. Hello, Abdul. I think we've somehow got a... Your mic is very quiet. I can raise it. Wait. Wait, this might be... Okay, is this better? Or is this too loud? kinda better, or kinda too loud? It's better? Okay. I can bump it up more if you... I can definitely not too loud. I can bump it up like 10% more if you want. If you want. Okay, how's this? Is this better? A little, okay. I'm gonna leave it at like this and figure it out tomorrow on mine, and figure out optimal sound quality tomorrow. Okay, thanks for pointing it out. Okay, so I'm still very confused as to what we need to present here. Wait, the trophy? The trophy? Oh yeah, he was at the police department to get the trophy, wasn't he? Oh, I wanted to press R. Okay. I guess we could present it on this statement. Ah, is that why the trophy is broken? Can I present the trophy on any of these statements? Or maybe this one? Nah, I don't think. I'll still try though. Scary coincidence, eh? Is there anything of use? No, I don't think there is. That's also like right after Edgeworth went away. I am so confused. I really don't. This is the first time like that a testimony has gotten me completely stumped. It's not Nothing contradicts the evidence. Like Phoenix said to look at the knife in detail, but we did, and presenting that doesn't work. What if I press this statement? You know? What do you think it is? Oh, What statement is that again? The first one, or? A detective was killed at the police department. What a mess. Fourth statement, alright. How the... you said where the victim was found. Okay. So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found. But I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? Wait a second, I have heard of that. The evidence room. Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Okay, so now I can present the knife. Okay. Why can I not present the knife? I guess we press. The defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. Hey, you don't say. Well, out with it, Writer. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife we found in the lot was stolen from the police department evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. And we also know that the detective murdered and we also know that the detective murdered at the police department. That the detective murdered? Or that the detective was murdered? The detective okay. Was killed in the very same evidence room. That's a weird way of phrasing that sentence. Indeed, there do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right here. Chief, I requested that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get this information? Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? You're going to tell us a little. Why not tell us everything? Well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of it. Oh, not this again. Guess we're gonna go with victim's ID number. That sticks out to me. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is... Is that the same one from... Oh, that is the same one. Well, that's quite long. And I have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82... I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Yeah, that's very interesting. ID number on the victim. This tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning? It has to do with what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you? Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. Apparently, the victim killed at the police department was the victim at the prosecutor's office? Yeah, this is very interesting. No, it's just, I got confused. And this is news. Oh, the roasting. Just come out with both gun blazing, like you always do. Police department, prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh, is this yours? No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Rido. Personal IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is that number. And this means what exactly? The same guy was supposedly killed in 2 places at the same time? This totally makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, don't you hate it when you get murdered twice at the same time in different places? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I've forgotten. You didn't even get the first number right. Again! The number the chief of police gave us was that number. I'm just gonna refer to that number as that number. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical, in other words. The detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, sharp as a tack, right? Oh, sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yeah, the detective Bruce Goodman was also killed in the police department, in the evidence room, at the exact same time. What is going on? Objection. That's impossible. So what we're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time, and in a completely different location. Order, order, order! Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error? Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How? How dare... We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. Officer Meekins? Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait, aha! Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Notice that his hand is also injured. Officer Meekins. You don't mean him. According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me. He said that report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report. Gah! Why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error. A gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then I... No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now what was the second rule of evidence law, Well, Mr. Wright... Huh? Oh well, it's rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before trial. This report wasn't on that list. So what does this mean? I can't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. A connection was just proven by Wright over there. Good job, Wright, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No! It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a rough time, Worthy, but with all those rumors, you were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due negligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. If it's the last thing I do, you'd better get results this time. Really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for his sake, I hope it's not decisive. Very well, court is adjourned. To be continued. This was quite a long case. Well, quite a long day one. But I think I'm gonna end stream here and continue in the following days. That was this is a very cool case. Thank you all for watching and goodbye.